If you are trying to navigate the professional or, the academic world in Saudi Arabia today, you have almost certainly come across four letters. STEP.
Oh, the step. Yes. It's pretty much unavoidable.
And looking at the source material we have, it feels like a lot of people just see it as another piece of bureaucracy.
Just another hoop to jump through.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to figure out, well, why does this specific test even exist? I mean, the world is already full of English exams.
Right. Why build your own yardstick when there are global ones ready to go?
That's the question.
Well, that really gets to the core of it. We're talking about the standardized test of English proficiency. And the organization behind it all is KIAS.
The National Center for Assessment.
That's the one.
And that name, KIAS, is key here. If you know the kingdom, you know they're not just some random test provider. They basically set the standards for, higher education, government jobs?
Pretty much. So when KIAS creates an English test, it's not just another exam. It's a credential that has real weight inside that Saudi ecosystem.
It provides a kind of domestic validation.
Yes. But to really get it, we need to look at the mechanics, how it's actually different.
Right, because I think a lot of our listeners probably hear this and just think, okay, so it's a Saudi TOEFL, a local copy.
And that's a useful shorthand, I guess, but it misses the nuance. TOEFL and IELTS, the big international ones.
They're built to see if you can survive in a Western university.
Precisely. To see if you can write an essay in London or follow a lecture in Boston. STEP is calibrated differently. It's designed specifically to measure English proficiency against the backdrop of the Saudi curriculum.
So it's testing the gap between what you learned in a Saudi high school and what you actually need for a university or a job inside the kingdom.
That's a great way to put it. And it's broken down into 4 parts that tell you what they really value: reading, comprehension, structure, listening, and compositional analysis.
Okay, compositional analysis. That sounds a lot more intimidating than just writing.
It sounds a bit fancy, yeah, but it's really about understanding how sentences are built, how logic flows. But here's the interesting part from our research.
Go on.
STEP puts a huge emphasis on structure, which is basically grammar.
Yeah.
Arguably more so than some of the big international tests that are more focused on, say, communication.
That's a really crucial distinction. So you're saying if you're great at conversational English, maybe you learned it from movies, but your technical grammar is a bit shaky.
STEP might actually be harder for you than an IELTS exam.
Wow.
Yeah, it catches a lot of people by surprise. It's 100 questions, all computer-based, and it is just relentless on that technical accuracy.
Okay, so we know what it is. Let's talk about why you'd take it. We know universities use it for admissions, but I'm hearing more about it being used for recruitment too.
It really boils down to standardization and trust. If you're an employer in Riyadh, an IELTS score is fine, but a STEP score tells you something very specific. It tells you exactly how a candidate stacks up against the national average. It's a localized metric that HR departments there understand inside and out.
So it's the tiebreaker.
Or it's the filter, even before that. Especially in fields like medicine, engineering, tourism. It validates your English, but on a scale they know.
So it sounds like the whole argument is really about relevance. It's not just national pride. It's about having a tool that's accessible and directly tailored to local market needs.
And access is a massive factor. But so is data. By controlling the test, KIAS controls the data on English proficiency for the whole country.
I hadn't thought of that.
They can see where the gaps are in the national education system in a way they never could if everyone was just taking American or British exams.
That's fascinating. So the test becomes a diagnostic tool for the entire country, not just for one student.
Exactly. And for you, the person listening, whether you're applying to a university or trying to get a promotion, STEP is your baseline. It's the proof of work.
So if we strip it all back, the takeaway is, don't see STEP as just a cheaper local version of the big guys.
No, you should see it as the primary currency for that specific market.
That's the right mindset.
Absolutely.
I want to leave you with one final thought. We always just assume that international standards are the best way to predict skill.
We tend to think that broader is always better.
But what if a localized test, like STEP, actually gives a more accurate prediction of success for someone who is going to study and work in their home country? It suggests that context might be just as important as the content being tested.
It's the difference between testing for the world and testing for your world.
Something to think about. Thanks for diving in with us today.
Keep learning.